back, you sexy beast. This is the beginning chapter for dun da da da, the magic. Okay, let me just say something before we get into this. I want you just to buckle up, Buttercup, because the things that happen to my friends who have read this book with me during this month are insane. Like, crazy stuff happens. Money shows up out of nowhere. Relationships start. Just I can't even explain. Like, things come out of nowhere that, like, trips that you weren't even thinking about just pop into your life that are way better than you ever thought, or just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So I just want you to be prepared that all you have to do is listen and then do what the magic tells you to do every day. That's it. Now, is it a commitment? Yes, of course it is. But is anything worthwhile in life not a little bit of work? Or it doesn't even have to be work. It just has to be, it's whatever you make it. Wherever energy goes, God, I always say that wrong. Wherever focus goes, energy flows. And so if you focus on gratitude, you focus on the magic in your life, then guess what you're going to get more of? You guessed it, sister. So anyway, let's start out just talking a little bit about the magic, and then tomorrow we'll do day one. So we're as of right this second, I'm sitting here with my surgical finger propped up above my heart because I am a very, very, very good patient. But I'm going to try to make this work because this could be tricky. But anyway, this is how we roll. This is how I do everything. I do it messy and I do it imperfect, but I get it done. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first chapter of the magic. Do you believe in magic? Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. That's a quote by Roald Dahl. And it's true. It's just like whenever it's Christmas and we used to always say, if you don't believe, you won't receive. Same thing. Remember when you were a child and you looked at life in wonder and awe? Life was magical and exciting, and the smallest things were utterly thrilling to you. You were fascinated by the frost on the grass, a butterfly flittering through the air, or any strange leaf or rock on the ground. You were full of excitement when you lost a tooth because it meant the tooth fairy would be coming that night, and you would count down the days to the magical night of Christmas. Even though you had no idea how Santa Claus could get to every child in the world in one night, somehow he did, and he never let you down. Reindeer could fly, there were fairies in the garden, pets were like people, toys had personalities, dreams came true, and you could touch the stars. I am here to tell you that the magic you once believed in is true, and it's the disillusioned adult perspective of life that is false. The magic of life is real, and it's as real as you are. In fact, life can be far more wondrous than you ever thought it was as a child, more breathtaking, awe-inspiring, and exciting than anything you've seen before. You may not see reindeer fly, but you will see the things you've always wanted appearing before your eyes, and you will see the things you've dreamed of for so long suddenly happening. You'll never know exactly how everything weaved together for your dreams to come true, because magic works in the invisible realm, and that's the most thrilling part. Y'all, I'm telling you, this shit is real. I'm here to tell you right now. Let me just explain a quick story. I set a very, very, very high goal for myself as a realtor. Last year, I hardly sold anything. It was a down market, and I was really focusing on other things, a lot of the podcast, and I was doing a bunch of personal development and all this wonderful mastermind stuff. It was great, but I was not focusing on real estate. So when I started out 2023 in January, I had COVID, I had one client, and I had no idea how I was going to fill my pipeline. The interest rates were just blowing up, and it looked like I wasn't going to sell a damn thing this year. And then in January, I did the magic. And during the magic, I was introduced to someone at EXP who ended up being my new broker, my new buddy, And I was introduced to all these ladies who were doing real estate in a way that I love, that I am obsessed with, that I am so excited about to wake up every day and do. And because of that, I have already met my goal for the year and have only been there 8 months. And not only that, I'm going to blow it out of the water. Not only that, I had my biggest closing day ever on Friday a few days ago while I was in surgery. I sold almost $4 million worth of real estate and I was under anesthesia. So when I tell you this stuff happened, it really, really works. And this all started back in January. That's when I was introduced to all the stuff that culminated into this magical year for me. Traveling, trips that came out of nowhere, first class tickets that we would have never expected, that we never planned. The hustle went out the window. It was amazing. So I'm just here to tell you this works. So if you don't believe me, the proof's in the pudding. So here's what she says. The answer to the mystery that has eluded so many for centuries is one hidden word: gratitude. It's all about gratitude. There was a scripture in the Gospel of Matthew that said, whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has, will be taken from him. So she talks about how that's confusing, and the only thing it's missing is the word gratitude. Whoever has gratitude will be given more, and he or she will have an abundance. Whoever does not have gratitude, even what he or she has, will be taken away from him. By the revelation of one hidden word, a cryptic text is made crystal clear. 2,000 years have passed since those words were recorded, but they are as true now as ever. So then she goes into the universal law. Basically, we're going to talk about the law of attraction now. Love it or hate it, it's just the law. I'm sorry, it just is. And I believe even more than the law of attraction in the law of vibration. The law of vibration states that whatever vibe you're at, and I'm not talking about like, oh, Scooby-Doo vibes. I'm talking about real life, like, are you in a bad mood? Are you in an okay mood? Are you in a great mood? What are you focusing on? How is your vibe? How do you feel today? Whatever you are, whatever level of vibration you're on at this moment in time is what you're going to attract into your life. That is 100% true. If I am hustling and I am stressed and I am negative and I am worried, I'm going to attract more of that. And I have done that. This last month, I did some of that. And it's no secret. I slammed my finger in a door and had to have surgery. So I got down the wrong path of stress and overwhelm, and that is not going to happen again. I'm not going to let that happen again. So she says, if you think I don't like my job, I haven't got enough money, I can't find the perfect partner, I can't pay my bills, yada, 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 you're going to get more of that. If you think about what you're grateful for, like I love my job, my family is very supportive, I have the best vacation, I feel amazing today, you're going to get more of that. It's the universal law. I'm telling y'all, the day I woke up on Friday, I still didn't even know if one of these was going to close. I was about to go into surgery. I was scared. I woke up that morning and I said, today is going to be amazing. Everything is going to go the way it's supposed to go for the greater good of all. God, I surrender this up to you. Whatever's supposed to happen today, please let it happen. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything you've given me. And everything that day, y'all, went beautifully. Both of my closings happened without me there. And my surgery went great. And I still haven't had pain. And it's been 2 days. Can you believe I'm doing this shit 2 days after surgery? But you know what? That's how passionate I am about it. So the point of the matter is what you focus on expands. And that's what you get more of. I've heard a saying once that worry is just a prayer for what you don't want. And so every time I catch myself worrying about something, I just say, nope, that's not what I want. What do I want? Flip it. And let's focus on that. So every action always has an opposite and equal reaction. When you apply the idea of gratitude to Newton's law, it says every action of giving thanks always causes an opposite reaction of receiving. And what you receive will always be equal to the amount of gratitude you've given. This means that Every action of gratitude sets off a reaction of receiving. And the more sincerely and the more deeply grateful you feel, in other words, the more gratitude you give, the more you will receive. Anyway, we could go on and on and on about that, and I'm not going to bore you with that. But I will tell you, she talks about her story and how 6 years ago, well, this book was written a long time ago, but if someone asked her if she were a grateful person, she would have said, yes, I'm a grateful person. The truth was, I was not a grateful person at all. I didn't know what being grateful really meant. And just saying the words thank you on the odd occasion certainly didn't make me a grateful person. While I was what would be termed healthy, I felt exhausted at the end of each day, and I always got my fair share of colds and the latest illnesses going around. I had moments of happiness when I went out with friends or when I went on vacation, but then the reality of having to work harder to pay for those pleasures would sweep over me. I wasn't living, I was surviving. I was this way 5 years ago when my oldest graduated from high school. I was just living day by day, just like literally surviving. Like, what's going to happen today? What bad stuff what fire am I going to have to put out today? How am I going to handle everything that's on my plate today and get it done? And I have completely changed my life in the last 5 years. Completely. And I'm telling y'all, it all has to do with two things. It has to do with focusing on gratitude and meditation. Those two things have changed my ever-loving life. I cannot say it enough. I will not stop. Okay. Bringing the magic into your life. Gratitude can magically turn your relationships into joyful and meaningful relationships, no matter what state they are in now. You can tell right now how much you actually have used gratitude in your life. Just take a look at all these major areas in your life: money, health, happiness, career, home, and relationships. These areas of your life that are abundant and wonderful are where you've used gratitude and are experiencing the magic as a result. It's a simple fact. When you're not grateful, you cannot receive more in return. You've stopped the magic from continuing on your life. When you're not grateful, you stop the flow of better health, better relationships, more joy, more money, and the advancement of your job, career, or business. To receive, you have to give. The bottom line of ungratefulness is that when you're not grateful, we're taking things in our life for granted. When we take things for granted, we are unintentionally taking from ourselves. Ain't that the truth? So then she gives us the magic formula. Number 1, deliberately think and say the magic words, thank you. That's it. Number 2, the more you deliberately think and say the magic words, thank you, the more gratitude you feel. Number 3, the more gratitude you deliberately think and feel, the more abundance you receive. Gratitude is a feeling. So the ultimate aim in practicing gratitude is deliberately feel it as much as you can. You know, when you think about like one of your kids, or you think about something really sweet that happened in your life, or you watch something on TV, a sweet commercial that touches your soul, like those awful Kleenex commercials that make me bawl cry, or that Ford commercial. Oh my God. Did y'all see that Ford commercial with the lady who had Alzheimer's, and they drive her around in the old Ford truck and she remembers her life and her granddaughter's showing her everything. And I was crying so hard by the end of the commercial. I couldn't even breathe. That is a feeling. That's a feeling that takes over your body. This is what we want to focus on at this whole book. You want the feeling. It's all about feelings, everything. So here we go. We're going to talk about the book a little bit. In this book, there are 28 magical practices that have been specifically designed so that you learn how to use gratitude's magical power to revolutionize your health, money, job, and relationships, and to make your smallest desires and your biggest dreams come true. You'll also learn how to practice gratitude to solve problems and transform any negative situations. The first 12 practices talk about gratitude. The next 10 practices use the magical power of gratitude for your desires, dreams, and everything you want. And the last 6 practices take you to a whole new level, baby. So she just kind of goes into that. Then what she wants you to do is sit down with a computer or pen and paper and make a list of what you really want in every area of your life. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I can't write. Like, I'm not allowed to use my hand at all for the next 5 days. So I don't really know how this is going to play out. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my notes section on my phone and I'm just going to put what I want, I'm going to voice text it like I'm voice texting this. But I want you all to do the same. If you, what's really super fun is if you get like a really special little notebook, and it could be your special magical journal, which I do this every year, but I can't do it this year because I can't write. So I'm going to do it on my phone. Writing to me is magical because I think there's something about pen to paper that makes it's almost like a contract with the universe or something. And I know you think I'm dorky for saying that, but it's true. But if you can't write it like me, you'll just do it in your phone. And basically what you need to do is write down in every area of your life what you want. Start with health and body, career and work, money, relationships, personal desires, and material things. Get those topics and then write down what you want. I want you to get crystal clear on what you want. Not what you think your husband wants you to want, what your kids want you to want, not what you think your mama wants you to want. I want you to dig down deep and think about what do I want in these areas of my life. That is your homework for tonight. It's New Year's Eve. Let's go balls out. Let's do this thing. I want you to do this right now. I'm going to do it right now. And then tomorrow morning when you wake up on January 1st, we're going to do the first chapter, which is called Count Your Blessings. I am so fired up. I cannot wait. So go do it. If you have any questions, DM me at Aimee Elkman, AIMEEELKMAN, and let me know what your questions are. I love this shit. I cannot wait to get started with you. So go do your homework and Happy New Year. Woo!